There's an unspoken rule in nature. When life moves into the ocean, it usually becomes more dangerous. Even today, the most terrifying predators live beneath the waves. And throughout Earth's history, this pattern has repeated itself again and again. Even during the age of dinosaurs, the oceans were home to creatures that would make Tyrannosaurus rex look almost tame by comparison. In fact, it's surprisingly hard to find any moment in Earth's past when being in the water was safer than being on land. But there was one exception. A short and often forgotten window of time, long before dinosaurs ever existed, when your chances of survival were actually better in the oceans. Because above the water, almost everything seemed designed to kill you. This was the Late Permian. Roughly 260 to 252 million years ago, Earth looked nothing like it does today. Days were shorter, lasting only about 22 hours because the moon orbited much closer to Earth. Nearly all land was fused into one massive supercontinent, Pangaea. Africa, the Americas, Europe, Antarctica, India, and Australia were all locked together into a single hostile landmass. Beyond it, only a few large islands existed, including regions that would one day become Siberia, North China, and Southeast Asia. And surrounding almost everything was a super ocean known as Panthalassa. This prehistoric ocean covered more than 60% of Earth's surface, nearly twice the size of today's Pacific Ocean. An ocean that vast should have been terrifying. But strangely, it wasn't. Sharks certainly existed. They had already been around for over 200 million years. You might be thinking of Helicoprion, the famous spiral-toothed shark of the Permian. But by this point in time, Helicoprion had already gone extinct. What remained were much smaller sharks, most no larger than modern reef or leopard sharks, feeding mainly on soft-bodied prey like squid. Even sea scorpions, once giants of the oceans, were now reduced to a few small, struggling species. Marine life wasn't peaceful. It was weakened. Just 2 million years earlier, a massive extinction event, the Capetanian extinction, had devastated marine ecosystems worldwide. In fact, it was more lethal to ocean life than several better-known extinctions that came later. So while life still existed underwater, it was sparse, cautious, and limited in size. For once in Earth's history, the oceans were not the most dangerous place to be. Because on land, the opposite was true. The same extinction that weakened marine life had wiped out the old rulers of the land. Massive animals known as dinocephalians. And when they vanished, a vacuum opened. Into that space stepped some of the most terrifying predators to ever walk the planet. These were the gorgonopsids. When their fossils were first discovered in the 19th century, they were so horrifying that scientists named them after the Gorgons of Greek mythology. They weren't mammals. They weren't reptiles. They were therapsids. Early relatives of mammals, but far more primitive and dangerous. They possessed long, curved, razor-sharp saber teeth, millions of years before saber-toothed cats ever existed. At first, gorgonopsids were small, but after the extinction they began to grow. Rapidly. By the late Permian, one species stood above all others. Inostrancevia. This predator reached over 11 feet in length and weighed more than 1,000 pounds. It was built for speed, with long, powerful limbs and a reinforced skull. Its saber teeth reached 6 inches in length, curved and serrated for slicing through flesh. A single bite could cause catastrophic blood loss. Whether it killed by crushing the throat or by biting and retreating until prey collapsed, survival was unlikely either way. And Inostrancevia wasn't rare. It ranged across Africa, Asia, and what is now European Russia, thriving in environments from warm floodplains to cold deserts. Some scientists even believe it may have had fur to survive harsh climates. But it wasn't alone. Across Russia and Africa, multiple species of gorgonopsids hunted simultaneously. Small ones, medium ones, and giants. In Africa, an entire family known as the rubigines evolved. One species, Rubigia atrox, grew nearly as large as Inostrancevia. Its skull made up more than 15% of its total body length, reinforced with thick bone for grappling powerful prey. Despite having a bite force no stronger than that of a modern wolf, its teeth were so perfectly designed that they sliced through flesh with ease. Entire ecosystems revolved around these predators. Herbivores lived in constant danger. And even then, the gorgonopsids were not the only monsters on land. Another group emerged alongside them, the therocephalians. They looked similar, but hunted in different ways. Some were fast pursuit predators, others were ambush hunters. And shockingly, some may have been venomous. If true, they would be the first venomous land vertebrates in Earth's history. One species, Moscarinus, had a jaguar-sized body and a lion-sized head, with jaws capable of crushing bone. Another, Megawaitsia, may have used venom to bring down prey larger than itself. Danger evolved in every direction. And as terrifying as these predators were, Mother Nature herself was worse. The Late Permian was brutally hot. Average temperatures hovered around 35 degrees Celsius. Massive deserts spread across Pangaea. Oxygen levels dropped. Droughts intensified. Life clustered into only a few regions where survival was possible. And then, everything collapsed. Around 252 million years ago, Earth entered its darkest hour. The Siberian traps erupted, volcanic activity so immense that it reshaped the planet. Lava flows kilometers thick, poisonous gases flooding the atmosphere, oceans overheating and turning acidic. Oxygen levels plummeted. The ozone layer collapsed. Ultraviolet radiation surged. By the end, 57% of biological families were gone. 83% of genera vanished. It was the worst extinction event Earth has ever experienced. Life on land nearly disappeared. Life in the ocean suffered even more. And yet, in one final twist of irony during the Late Permian, if you had to choose where to survive, the water may have been your safest option. Nature has rules. But sometimes, history breaks them. And when it does, it reminds us just how fragile life truly is. If you enjoyed this journey into Earth's most dangerous world, like the video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which prehistoric era you want to explore next. Because the past isn't dead. It's waiting to be rediscovered.